Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Going Ballistic podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Kleckner, and I'm here with none other than Jason Kleckner. How you doing, Jason?
Good, man. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful Christmas while we were gone.
I missed you guys. Sorry we didn't make it back to Arizona, but it was nicer here.
I don't know, man. The weather was pretty awesome here.
Yeah. So tell me about it. Family get together? You guys go do anything?
No. I think they went up and saw Grandma. We actually had Twyla's family over on Christmas Day, so we had to stay here. So we didn't get to see her on Christmas Day, but I know a lot of people went up.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Talk to me about your Cerakoting. Are you still going strong with that?
I haven't done any more yet. My next plan is to do a pistol in Cerakote, which I was talking to you about. I'm going to attempt to do the plastic and see how that goes, and take it from there.
So can you start with something like a Magpul P-Mag just to get some practice on something cheap with plastic? Or does it just really matter what kind of plastic it is?
I don't think so. I think they just tell you if you're going to do wood or plastic, you have to do it at lower temperatures. And you can't soak it like an acetone to degrease it because it'll mess up the plastic. So there's some other steps that you got to do. But I'll play with it and see how it goes.
Gotcha.
So the big thing that I did learn with mine, and I don't think I talked about it last time, was when I airbrushed the inside of the lower and upper, I got a little bit of dry spray, which it didn't affect anything. Everything worked fine, but it was horrible to clean it. So like when I use a cotton swab or something in there to get into the grooves, it just grabs it and shreds it. So I actually took some steel wool and smoothed all that down. So yeah, dry coat sucks when it's on the inside.
Yeah, and the bolt carrier is only going to rub smooth those four rails, where it's touching. That makes sense. Okay. So how's the gun working for you?
So the gun shot wonderful. It shot amazing groups.
That was the new barrel too, right? The Odin barrel?
That's right. So I shot, we were shooting 50 yards, and I turned the red dot down so low that I was kind of looking through it at the target. I shot 6 shots, and 4 of the shots were all touching. 2 of them were just outside of touching at 50 yards. So super happy with it.
Okay. So what ammo were you shooting again?
I was using the Spire Points, my go-to round.
Okay, gotcha.
Now the one.
All right, so you're happy with it? Good.
Super happy, except for I did have one issue. So I loaded up some Full Metal Jacket rounds, started shooting them, and I had a jam. And I thought, okay, maybe it's a fluke thing. Shot a few more, had another jam. So I thought, okay, I have a bad magazine. Swapped it out.
So what kind of jam was it?
So
failure to extract, failure to feed. What was going on?
Failure to feed, and it actually shoved the head of the bullet inside the case because it threw it up at an angle.
Okay.
A little bit. So I thought, okay, I got a bad mag. Threw in another mag. Went through almost the whole mag without a glitch, and then I had another one. I thought, okay, there's a problem. Popped it open, looked inside the upper, and I could see right away what was happening is where the barrel comes into the upper, the I don't know the right word to call it, but there's like a little shelf that my other ARs have like a tapered groove for the bullet to follow into the barrel. And this was at a perfect 90, and I could see where the case was clipping at 90, and it took off the Cerakote. It chipped it right there.
Yeah. So it sounds like it was missing what's called M4 feed ramps.
So yeah,
barrel extension. If you guys look at a barrel extension on the AR-15, you have what you normally call a star chamber. You see all the little cutouts for all the lugs to go through and turn and lock behind. Well, the bottom of a barrel extension on the AR-15 has really big, pencil diameter grooves, angled ramps on either side where it's going to feed from left and right from the magazine. And those are the feed ramps for the cartridges to get up into the chamber. Well, the M4 changed some of the angles on it and made the angles a little more gradual, relying upon only the surface area of the barrel extension. There's also a little bit of chamfering in the aluminum of the upper So actually, if you look at an M4 cut AR, you'll see the feed ramp start in the aluminum, then there'll be like a seam from the aluminum where it jumps to the barrel extension and continues up on in. Now, if your upper didn't have that, that's because it was for either the older M16 cuts or they just forgot it. But you would see as you put your barrel extension in, your feed ramps probably came to an abrupt end right into the aluminum. Is that the case?
That's the case. And there's just a tiny little 90-degree shelf. So I dug out my AAC, looked at it, and saw where they had actually tapered that section into the barrel. And I thought, well, that makes perfect sense. So what I ended up doing was taking a chainsaw file and followed that taper into the barrel and made my own.
I would have gone back to the manufacturer and said, this is wrong.
So I haven't dug out my SPR yet to take a look at it and see if it's there or not, because it's from the same people. So, but that was the one issue I have.
Right.
I'm going to take it out this weekend and shoot it again, and see if I corrected the problem.
Yeah, let us know. So, I've actually had problems at the top of the feed ramps where it's, the inner edge of the star chamber, where it actually can be too sharp. I had that happen on actually one of my AAC barrel extensions, where it was catching the brass, and sometimes it would stop the brass dead in its tracks. It would give a sharp gouge about a 1/4 inch long of the brass, and finally catch and stop the round half of the feed ramp. It was amazing. Just unfortunately, towards the end of the life of those rifles being offered, and cutting corners on parts and just bad control on the quality of those, it happened, which is frustrating because it's an otherwise cool rifle, but it still does not give me a warm fuzzy on reliability. Whenever I'm breaking a file out and getting into a gun, it makes me nervous. But yours is a home built one, which you're building the thing,
Yeah. So why not?
Cool.
So yeah. So
hey, I finally got some preview footage from Texas. Did you get to see it?
I did. It was awesome.
If you guys haven't seen it, you're listening, you can check out my Facebook page. I'll try and figure out a way to put a link to this, the podcast show notes. It's also on my Instagram. It's just 30 seconds, but they put together a really neat little montage of shooting the rifles. The problem is the guys doing it, great video guys, awesome guys to work with. They either did it on purpose because they wanted the cool video, or they didn't know, but they switched back and forth between rifles. So if you watch the video, back and forth between the Tikka TAC A1 and the collector nitrogen, back and forth. So, which that one just sold. And so now I officially have no more left. I have to believe it. I am actually out of stock of nitrogen rifles.
That's awesome. That's the idea, yeah?
It's a good problem to have. It's going to a good home. It's a great friend of mine, and so I should say great friend of mine, a great acquaintance of mine. We knew each other from the military, and he really wanted it, so I cut him a good deal because it was used quite a bit in demos, but so pricey, but I think they're worth it. So he's getting a complete kit. He's getting from silencer, scope, rifle, everything as you see it in that video. He's getting, which is actually kind of cool. So if you look at the video, the cool parts I like about the video is, one, I don't realize how much people don't run their bolts on their guns until they watch that video. So if I ever show someone that video, one of the comments they'll usually make is, "Oh my gosh, look at running the bolt on that gun. Like what you're trying to be really fast." And that's actually, I remember, oh yeah, people don't run their bolts right. It's been a while since I've been teaching. So if you guys see that and it looks like I'm running the bolt fast, I think I am. Yes, that's how you should be running the bolt when you're running a bolt gun. You should be shooting and getting it back into the fight. So that's really not supposed to be remarkable. That's supposed to be what you should be doing. So that's one note for you. The other, my favorite part, is when they have the drone going over the 500-yard target. I don't know if you've seen it, Jason, but you see 3 hits in that one shot.
Yeah.
You see that going by? Yeah, it's really cool.
I did.
There's 5 hits in that sequence. Just the drone angle, I guess, only caught the 3 as it flew by. Someone, Hydrolife, he's making a comment. He already noticed in the background. Yes, I changed up my gun decorations behind me. That is a IWI X95 behind me. So yeah, bullpups to the AK. I'll change it up every once in a while just to keep you guys interested in what's going on my. Let's see if I can grab it. I'll pull my headphones out. Anyway, the video, the gun that was doing a lot of those shots, we had to hide. I've been teasing it for a while, Jason. And I told you to wait to get an AR-10 until this thing came out, and the news is already broke. It's supposed to wait till SHOT Show, but the news is out, so I guess I'm safe to talk about it now. While I grab this, you want to tell everyone what it is, Jason?
It is by Barrett, and it is called the REC10, correct?
The REC10, yep.
Now,
yeah, guys, I'm ridiculously excited about it. Go ahead, Jason.
Now, didn't you actually get to go on a little hunting trip with it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I slayed some hogs with it. Here's the rifle that was on my office for everyone watching on YouTube. I know you're going to pick on me, everyone, for liking this thing, but I love this thing. I love this gun. And I used to hate them just based on look. It's silly. And now that I've shot it and played with it a bunch, I love this X95. And if you guys notice, if you're used to them, I have a pistol grip, a standard pistol grip on mine with a standard trigger guard. I don't have that cutlass, style deal on there. I have, of course, the Geisley trigger pack on the back and the bow. Got an AAC blast deflector and a muzzle brake there. Yeah, this is all set up. I love running this gun. Fun gun to shoot. More accurate than you think it would be. And I now have a 16-inch barrel for full, 223 performance in a rifle where I can reach out with the firing hand and I can put my fingers over the end of the barrel. Now, of course, I don't want to shoot my own fingers. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the length of it, that you can actually put your hand in front of the gun that's in your shoulder. That's pretty tiny. So yeah, I love that thing. So the REC10, holy cow. I'm so anxious to talk to you guys about it that Jason had just figured out a couple minutes before we started this podcast. I broke the word, so now we can talk about it. Again, I'll put pictures and links and stuff in the show notes for this. It is by far the nicest AR-10 I've ever shot. And you guys may or may not know, I'm one of the biggest critics of some of the Barretts when it comes to like the 50 cals, because in the military, they try to say that the Barrett 50 cals were, these sniper rifles, and they weren't. They're not accurate. They're just not accurate rifles. There's an unfortunate joke where we call them, men in the dumpster, because they're not men of the Bengal. And it's just, they weren't designed to be a super accurate rifle. They're designed to be a rifle that shoots the 50 caliber round from the shoulder. And it does great at doing that, but not in the sniper role. So it's always been a fight of mine and always a frustration when you have to, carry that thing around and shoot that thing for a job. It can get tough. Now, that's not the Barrett of today. The Barrett of today is making the MRADs, which I've finally come around full circle on and just love those MRADs. And they're making these REC10s. So the problem is with AR-10s, I had the Nice Armament SR-25 in the military issued to me, which was an AR-10, and I hated it. I hated it. Everyone I knew that had one hated them. When I taught sniper students, military sniper students that would come to me with their SR-25s or later their M110s, which were the newer version of them, I'm pretty sure just about every one of them hated them. They don't work. They're not accurate. They're a mess. They don't cycle right. They're hard to lock the bolt back. Even in the catalog or the manual, I would have new students that come to the course. I'd have them open up their catalog or the manual again, go to page, I think it was 15, and look at the top right and read the warning out loud. And it would say something to the effect of, accuracy is only guaranteed so long as the barrel is comfortable to touch with the bare hand. And sure enough, they'd go shoot a 5-round group, and then rounds 6 through 10 would walk right up the paper. The accuracy just went through. So that was a mess. And then I shot quite a few LaRues, which are, as far as AR-10s went, amazing. They were accurate all of a sudden. They made a more accurate AR-10, but the triggers, they just weren't my cup of tea, or they just ended up breaking or not working. I'd like to think I can handle an AR-style rifle, but those things locking the bolt to the rear was always a pain. You always ended up catching it on the bolt carrier instead of the bolt, or they'd malfunction, or just, they were better, but still not quite right. And then DPMS came out with the Gen 2, and I wanted to love those, but then the ones I'd had just been bad experience with. I think actually the only one I actually took out and had with me for a while was just a malfunction machine. Me and the other guy, I don't think we made it through 3 rounds without a malfunction. That's how bad it was. And actually, it's just like every single AR-10 I've tried just is a dud somehow. Something about it doesn't work. Is amazing. Without question, any single person listening, I don't get any money for this. They're not a sponsor of mine. And get this REC10. It is awesome. You just take the charging handle and you lock the bolt to the rear, which I know sounds weird to you guys. When AR-10s, it actually can be obviously a pain. You want to release the bolt, it releases. You put the magazine in, it feeds just fine. You don't have the problems they seat too high or not high enough like they have on AR-10s. The recoil impulse isn't just overgassed and sloppy and kick you in the shoulder. It's actually a nice, smooth shooting gun. Have I ever tried POF rifles? Someone commented. Yes, and I know Frank, and I consider him a friend. POFs are nice. They really are. I don't like personally, I don't like the rail on top of the rail on the uppers, but Frank does make good guns. I've actually sat there with cardboard boxes full of uppers for POF, helping them test them one day, just putting the uppers on and putting masking tape on them and writing how they did. Still, they just never quite seem just right. I don't know. I regret saying that. I'm trying to be honest with everybody because I love POF and I love Frank so much. But guys, the Barrett knocks, in my opinion, the AR-10s. It's amazing. So yeah, you wouldn't go wrong with the POF either. I'll give you that. They are nice, and it's a great company and great people. But I'm getting a Barrett REC10. And the accuracy, the recoil, the trigger, the safeties. I mean, I'm sitting there doing NSSF videos in these things. I'm talking about how you have a pistol grip. You got the pistol grip might have too much of a problem with accuracy, so you want to get your thumb around to the right side of the gun. And I said, well, you got to be careful when you have an ambidextrous safety. So it's good to have an ambidextrous safety when your thumb's on the right side, but you got to be careful because a typical safety will get into your knuckle of your firing, hand. Do is on some ambidextrous safeties, you can flip the lever on the right side, so it goes the opposite direction, so it doesn't get into your knuckle. And right as I'm explaining this, the Barrett has one of those, I think, a 45-degree safety, where it doesn't go all the way to 90. I said, or you get one like this, where it just is in the right spot for your thumb to rest on and fire, then put it back on safe. Just even down to that, I'm stopping going, oh, I love this thing. So we were having so much fun with those Barrett REC10s that we were making up a new drill out there in Texas with Colby Donaldson and the camera crew from the NSSF. And we were calling it the triple nickel drill, which was 3 5s, 5 shots at 500 yards in 5 seconds. And it was no problem with the REC10. Just nuzzle in behind the gun, bang, reset, bang. And after the second bang, you'd hear the feedback of the previous round, and you could just drill it. So, yeah. If I haven't said it yet, it's an amazing gun. You guys need one. You going to get one, Jason?
I want one. Well, you couldn't tell me what it was, but you were like, you need to wait. That's all you tell me. You need to wait.
I've been trying to tell. A lot of people ask, I want an AR-10. Which one should I get? I'm like, wait, because I can't tell you about the REC10 yet. But now I can. Guys, you're not happy with it. I'll take it from you. I'm coming out with a DMR version, so like a dedicated marksman version, so a longer barrel with the Magpul PRS stock. Even like the charging handle, where normally it's hard to get to under the scope, on an AR-10, they're putting like the nice big, Radian style charging handles. They're easy to get to. You're just going to love it. They have the DMR one, which is a little bit heavier. It's not meant for carrying around like an assaulter style rifle, but that's their tactical sniper type rifle. And then they have a carbine one, which if the videos come out, you'll see it feels like an M4 or an AR-15. I mean, they're not meant to be lightweight. The carbine version is their lighter weight one, but it's not what I would bill as a lightweight AR-10. But you pick it up and feel it, and it just feels like an AR-15. It's a light profile barrel. It's a regular collapsible stock. That's a dream to shoot and work with. And I actually took that carbine one out hog hunting. And so get some of that footage up there of that. But out there in Texas with the hogs, going from bushes to bush with a AR-15 sized weighted 308, and it ran like a dream. It was a really, really, really good gun. I don't think I can say who, but there's already government contracts on this gun that they've already won and they're already producing for before the guns even come out in the public. So there's, I believe, 2 tests and contracts that I've heard of or know of that already the customers far and away said REC10. That's all we want compared to what everything else that was being offered. So it's pretty amazing. I'm excited for it, and I hope to help you one.
Oh no, I want one. I mean, I've been wanting AR-10 style gun for a while, so it's nice to finally talk about it because months ago I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this, man. It's got a good deal, and you're like, gotta wait. That's all I can tell you. You have to wait.
Now,
So-
MSRP is up there. I'm looking at it right now. They're saying $2,750 for MSRP. Ouch. It's expensive, but I don't know. It's nice. So Red Leg in the comments also said the PO Evolution sounds like the 308 and a 223 package. That does look awesome. I actually saw a video with Frank talking about that, and I was just very excited about that. So I think that would be a good offering too. It's probably even lighter or smaller because that POF Revolution is actually a smaller package, whereas the Barrett REC10 is just a standard, AR10 style package. So either way, it was nice to see. Nothing too crazy. I mean, they did have some ambidextrous controls. I think they had ambidextrous bolt release and things like that in the lower, but they didn't go that crazy. It took what looked like a normal AR-10. I wasn't that excited about him until I shot him. And even the first day, I was kind of like, I don't know about this thing. I'm warming up to it. It's actually kind of working. And then by the end of my trip out there, I was like, okay, this is the way they do. And I think Colby's the same spot on that one, but I don't want to speak for him. Hydrolife asked me Rec 10 or a Scar 17. A Rec 10. I don't like the Scars personally. I don't know. I just shot them, just not for me. Nothing against them except I guess personal. So yeah, that's exciting. So, are you coming to SHOT, Jason?
I am working my hardest to at least go for one day, even if it's one day. I'll make the trip.
All right. So you guys listen. If you want to meet Jason, you happen to be at SHOT, you should encourage him to go. So he'll go out there. You guys might get a chance to run him down. So, yeah, man, we'll get you looking at the Rec 10 later. You can play with it. So you know what else is coming out? But it accidentally got leaked today. That's coming out tomorrow. These two is the Ruger pistol caliber carbine. They took essentially a Ruger 1022. Would you know what that is, right?
Yep, I have one.
Yeah, standard. Every American male should have one. They took it and just made it dimensionally a little bit bigger. And it's for 9mm. So it's the same shape receiver. It's the same looking buttstock. It's the same everything. It's actually the takedown model. So you can flip the little lever and the barrel does a twist and comes off, so it takes down in half, right? So it's a takedown model, slightly dimensionally bigger, and it takes Glock magazines. They're going to sell a metric ton of those things. A little 1022 that shoots 9mm. Wouldn't you want one?
Oh, absolutely.
Threaded barrel, takedown model, 9mm rifle, takes Glock magazines, a 1022 trigger and stuff with a little bolt to the side. Good for them. Ruger is really thinking and really listening to what people actually want. Such a fun planking gun. That would be a really fun gun to teach people to shoot on. Because the standard, rifle styling doesn't scare people. Easy to operate. With a suppressor on there, silencer, I think would be really cool. So they're apparently supposed to announce that tomorrow. But if you're listening to Going Ballistic tonight, you just got the teaser that first, I guess. Or maybe other people did, but we're doing it on purpose.
Oh, well.
And that'll come out tomorrow. So maybe you can see that at SHOT too if you come check it out, Jason.
How cool is that it'll take a standard Glock magazine? I mean, that's the ideal thing.
That's what I'm saying. They're listening.
Be able to be versatile. So
yes.
Yeah.
And it's a takedown. So if you wanted to, you could throw it in a backpack.
Right.
And you carry around a Glock 19. In an emergency situation, you got a rifle now.
Yeah.
You got a backup rifle that uses the same mags.
Same mags that are already on my hip. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Casey said, I live in Phoenix and I want to meet Jason. I never run into him in the middle of nowhere when I go shooting.
Well, middle of nowhere, it's hard. You got to drive further and further these days to go to the middle of nowhere to shoot. I mean, for me, I go to the bottom of Yarnell Hill. That's where I do my long range shooting.
Well, now everyone knows where you're going to be at.
Yep.
So we used to go the New River exit. We'd just shoot over the other side and go north of Pioneer Village there.
Yeah.
In the desert. That was like the easiest place to go because you wouldn't have to go very far off. But then all of a sudden the outlets started popping up over there for Anthem. And all those places started popping up. And then it was kind of off limits. You had to go further and further. And I moved out of Phoenix since then. But even the last couple of years, that was getting shut down, which was a bummer because from like my family's house when I was younger, that was 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, no, they've
shut the desert. And now I heard you had to go to Table Mesa, and now people got to go even further.
Yeah, it's a mess. I mean, even where I took you, where I used to go by the white tanks, that's closed down now. They did reopen right there by Lake Pleasant by the main entrance. BLM did open that up and posted a sign. If you don't pick it up, we're going to shut it back down. So fair enough.
Good, because that's the problem when it gets shut down is people just leave.
Yeah, they leave their crap
everywhere.
I mean, we take a couple of tarps, throw them on the ground where the brass is going to fly, and then we don't even have to pick it up. You just fold up the tarp, bring it home, and dump it in the garbage can. So it's not like it's real hard to pick up your mess.
Or you keep it because brass is valuable for reloaders.
Yes, they are. I do give the 223 brass to a buddy of mine that reloads. But my 9mm brass and stuff, no. But
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, seriously, it's not that hard to pick up your trash. Just pick it up.
I get shut down. It does look pretty bad out there. It does get real bad, which is a shame.
It is.
Oh well. So another thing that's coming out in 308 that I want to get. So I want to get 2 guns. Sorry, I got to keep the firearms industry support. Is this X95 that I like so much? IWI is coming out with the Tavor in 308, and that's supposed to be at shot. So this gun in a 308 package, it's kind of ultimate to me. Yeah, the REC10 is really awesome. You just heard me say that, but when Red Dawn happens, I'm grabbing my AK or something like this. That's going to be a lot easier and more maneuverable. You know, this is like battle rifle. This is not like an AR-15. All my criticisms of an AR-15 go away with one of these. You know, these things are, in my opinion, way more robust. You know, long stroke piston. I think the 308 might be a short stroke, which is a bummer. But this 223 is a long stroke piston. I think extremely simple. Yeah, these guys have figured it out. But anyway.
Yeah, I've not got to shoot one of those yet.
We'll have to fix it. I actually took the crew for Rocket FFL out, which, by the way, thank you everybody for your continued support. It's awesome. More and more people sign up every day, and things like that, which is awesome. This was a record month for book sales, which was amazing because it's been out for 2 years now, and you guys are still supporting the long range shooting handbook. So I really, really, really appreciate it, especially with your patience and me trying to get the next one done. So this month we sold 3,237 paperback copies of the long range shooting handbook.
Wow.
Yeah, best month so far by a long shot. You guys have been incredibly supportive. I think we're up to 37,000 copies so far now sold in 2 years. On to support charities, and it's because you guys. It's awesome. And I'm trying to arrange where I'm going to be at signing the book at SHOT Show. Even though the next one won't be ready, I'll still get a second run out of this first one and get the next one soon. So
that's fantastic, man. Congratulations.
What are your next? Thank you. What are your next projects, Jason? What else is going with you?
Well, obviously the next project now is going to be a REC10. Going to have to save my money for one of those things. But no, I'm really hoping to get out and try to go shooting this weekend. It's going to be another long weekend with New Year's. And just want to get out. I'm really trying hard to get some steel plates done up on some rebar that I'm going to hike out where I like to go and put them in the ground. Start plinking at those. So it's been too long. It's been over a month since I've done any long range shooting. I've been too busy tinkering around with the Cerakote and building this AR-15 and trying to get a few things put together for my FFL. I should be hearing back on my LLC anytime, and then I can continue my process and do my application. So still want to get that moving.
Yeah. So I wanted you to get it moving too. I want you to go through Rocket FFL more and tell us more how the course is going for you. I do have something new that I shot with just recently. I actually went out and actually with Barrett. So again, they're my friends, but I'm not sponsored by them or anything. So I guess I'll make that clear. A huge chunk of the industry. So I'm connected with everybody somehow. And we're shooting the MRAD to see how the 6mm Creedmoor shot versus the 6.5 Creedmoor. And my conclusion, I think the conclusion, the other guy that were there, I can't really speak for them, was kind of like, there's no reason to shoot a 6mm Creedmoor at all. Ballistically, the elevation out to about 650, which is all we shot out to, was almost identical to the 6.5 Creedmoor. any flatter shooting of a cartridge. And yeah, however much it got there quicker, which means it wouldn't be affected by wind as much, it was affected by wind more because it was a lighter bullet. And we saw one gun after the next. We had a 6.5 Creedmoor and a 6mm Creedmoor sitting right there next to each other. And the wind call was more for the 6mm Creedmoor. It was just, we stopped like, a little bit less recoil. But for those of you that are wondering about it, unless you're doing, PRS style competitions, you really want the lowest recoiling rifle, I would stay away from the 6mm Creedmoor. I think 6.5 is the way to go. Chris on the comments just asked, when am I going to write a children's book? It's already written, Chris. Believe it or not, the book is written. I've been working back and forth for quite a while now with illustrators trying to get the thing finished. And it may not be a book you guys like, so it's a really risky book because it's not a typical kids book about guns, which is the risk I'm taking on making it this way, is I'm trying to appeal to non-gun people also on children's gun safety. So it's definitely not what most kids' gun safety books are, which is Timmy's dad has guns and here's his gun safe and he knows you need to be responsible and you need to do this, which it's good. It's not a bad message, but having kids myself, I don't think that holds their attention. And I also don't think that people that aren't super gun friendly would buy those, because the books that I've seen just reek of gun owners or gun community, which I'm a part of. I'm not against. I'm just saying that the message of gun safety for kids needs to reach way more than just gun people's kids. It needs to reach people even who are anti-gun. It needs to reach them too and their kids, because their kids are going to maybe be around guns someday. So I really struggled with writing a book that an anti-gunner might actually buy. When I was doing the book signing at Barnes & Noble, I think I told you about the lady who was aghast that she was near a gun guy. She ended up being some like high-ranking member in the leadership for that region of the Mothers Demand Action Against Gun Violence. And we actually hit off and sat there and talked about 15 minutes after the event about the children's book and about how much she loved the direction of it. So I hope that doesn't make you mad. I did that on purpose, as I tried to make a book that even the anti-gunners would buy. It essentially talks about two kids kind of going through the book, explaining times they've messed up when they were supposed to be safe, they're supposed to listen to the parents and they didn't. And the book builds along, and finally at the very end, a firearm is introduced as one of the potential safety hazards. And the kids notice that the parents' reaction is way more severe with the gun, and they talk about accidents and things like that. So it's kind of a gun safety book where I subtly snuck in the gun safety at the end, so the kid doesn't think that they're getting a speech when they're being read a book. And then the end of the book is actually, hey parent, children's firearm safety is actually about you, and here's the rules you need to follow. So it's actually the rest of the book they wouldn't read to the kid, they talk about it. So now I just gave kind of the premise of the book away, but it will be risky. I hope you guys receive it well, and you guys aren't like, what the heck is this? You guys are making, Ryan made such a soft, hidden gun safety book, but yeah, I just told you that was my point. So, I mean, what do you think, Jason? You think, is that a safe bet to go? You think it's better to try and get more people to look at it and not be such a safety book? Or do you think that'd be better because we need to normalize that kind of thing?
No, I think it's better the direction you're going. And the reason being is because most of the kids that my kids grew up with were not around guns, right? We have guns all over the house. They're hanging on the wall. They're everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I would actually have to talk with parents before a kid would come over and say, look, we have guns in the house. The ones that are on the wall, don't function or are not going to fire, one way or another. But I want you to be aware of it. And it would freak some of them out a little bit. And we'd go through, this is why they're locked up. And my kids know, not to touch or play with them unless we're going to go out, and we don't touch until we get out there. I actually, not that it was probably the best idea, but what I used to do with Hunter and Tucker when they were small is I would test them. I would purposely leave one of my pistols out, unloaded and everything, on the counter in the case, and leave it there for a day and see if they'd ever screw with it, just if the curiosity would catch their eye. And they never did. I mean, they listened and they never touched it.
I've done that too.
So
and put it under a couch cushion or something and just stood there, or a pillow.
Yeah. Just
the remote under that pillow, and just to test what my daughter does.
Right.
Because I won't do that to my son yet, because he's way too young to even be tested like that with my daughter. She's passed so far. It's been great.
Yeah.
She's not
and they
scared to
always
death of it. She
pass.
just steps back and goes, gun, Dad, can you get that?
Yeah.
I'm sure. So you're afraid of it? She's like, no. Well, then hand it to me real quick. And a couple times she'll reach forward and be like, no, not hand it to you. I said, all right, good.
Good. Yeah.
And she'll ask to go shooting, and we'll go shoot. So I think that was the thing my dad did is whenever I wanted to go shooting, he took me shooting. Guns out or look at it or learn or stuff like that, he would do it. So I think that took a lot of the mystery out of it.
Yeah. And I also, again, not saying that it's the best way, but it was at least the way I thought it should be done. Is I made them a little bit afraid of it. So like we'd go out shooting and we'd shoot the 22s, you know, they're having a ball, you know, this is fun. And when they were big enough to handle it, you know, I'd hand them a 20 gauge shotgun, you know, nothing that's going to hurt them real bad, but enough to strike a little bit of fear in them to where, whoa,
yeah,
you know, this is serious stuff right here. So like I said, I'm not saying my way was a great way, but that it worked for me, and they always respected, never messed with the guns.
it's awesome.
So for what it's worth, if you want to try that, that's what I did. But no, I think it's super important, and especially for kids that are going to be, I mean, let's face it, you never know who's going to be later on at your house. You know, you could have some kids stopping by after school. You might be at work. You may have accidentally left one out. I mean, it's really important, I think, for kids to know how dangerous and to be safe with them they can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I realized the need for the book when my daughter came home from school spouting fire and pool safety. She learned all about it. This is what you do. I'm like, wow, school's really taking time to, and I get it. I get the political climate. I don't agree with it, but I get it. They're not going to talk about firearms. It's wrong, but they won't do it. I'm like, wow, that's a problem. Yeah. Kind of safeties and like it's the only thing I need to worry about. So anyway, all right, man. Well, anything to add? I'm about ready to wrap it up.
No, I'm good, man. And it's a bummer. I don't know if you told everybody that we're sorry we missed them last week, but you had a flu bug. You were under the weather, and I had a similar bug a week prior to that when we skipped. So sorry that we skipped out on a few episodes.
A couple weeks that we skipped out on?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, everybody. We're back now. So I'll try and upload this one soon. This one was on YouTube. Sorry for the change from Facebook. Again, like I try to say every time, thank you for the support, everybody, for spreading the word for Rocket FFL, Rocket CCW, for supporting my book and spreading the word about it. I really appreciate it. And if you like the podcast, tell people about it. I know Jason and I just kind of ramble about stuff now, but one, it's more fun for Jason and I to catch up this way. And two, a lot of you guys have been asking, you know, for this. So you want more technical information, send us an email and ask a question. Otherwise, you're getting gun hangout time with the Kleckner boys. So thanks for coming in, Jason.
Oh, as always, man. Thanks, everybody. And everybody have a safe New Year's. And what is our plan for next week so everybody knows? Are we going to do a Wednesday again?
I have no idea.
With New Year's
I have no idea. But yeah, be careful with New Year's. It's amateur hour.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of guys out there drinking and letting their wives drive. So be careful.
That's right.
I don't know. What's the date next week? I'm not supposed to talk about dates in the podcast because it ruins it for some people, I guess. No, I'll be on the 2nd. Are you good for the 2nd?
Yeah.
On Tuesday night, our normal time?
Yep. I'll be fine for that.
All right, everybody. Then we will do a live broadcast on YouTube again because this is not glitching up for us on the 2nd. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.